Welcome back. Unemployment jumped to 8.3%. So what does this mean for the candidates going into the conventions? Could it push Mitt Romney to the top? We're joined by our political panel this morning. Radio host Tony Katz, Fox News contributor Angela McGlowan, and former 2012 congressional candidate and founder of Civil Discourse Organization Alliance Network, Nomiki Konst. Good to see you all this morning.
Thank you for having us.
The jobs number is tough to make a whole lot out. You got a pretty good jobs number, 160,000 jobs added, which is pretty good, reverses a trend anyway. But the unemployment rate continues to go up. The labor force continues to shrink. The polls don't move, though, Tony. Why not?
Well, the polls actually continue to go down for President Obama. But the real conversation here is about fantasy versus reality. You can talk about the 160,000 jobs, but you have to talk about the record number of people on disability. You have to talk about the record number of people on food stamps, which is a way for people to get by in this economy because there are no jobs.
But on these jobs numbers, how will they move the polls? Because they haven't moved a whole lot.
8.3 is 8.3. People don't have a job. It doesn't work well for the president.
Dave, it's all about messaging, and that's why the polls have not moved much for Obama. He's steady, especially with the unemployment rate going up. Liberals have their message together. The spin machine is out there. Here you had Labor
Romney
Secretary.
Does not?
Here you had Labor Secretary Hilda Solis saying that, oh, we've turned the corner, and Obama saying things are positive. Conservatives, unfortunately, we have great policies, but Romney needs to get out there in plain talk to relate to the common guy, and he's not doing it as well right now. But as for going into the convention, these job numbers are only a good catalyst to help solidify the base behind Romney, because we need to get the base out to vote for him, and we need independents to get out to vote.
But this is with all due respect, this is the best growth period we've had since 1989. For 30 consecutive months, we have grown our jobs.
Our GDP is growing at 1.5%. That's anemic.
Job growth period since 1989.
But if you look at the minority community with the 8.3% nationally, that doesn't even measure up to the Latino unemployment, the black unemployment amongst women. So even job creation, as you say, how you're spinning it, the bottom line is people are suffering. And when they go to the ballot box, they're going to vote their pocketbooks. Now, Romney just released his 5-point plan, but what he needs to get out there, advocacy, advocacy, advocacy.
Tony, let me ask you about a breakdown of the Wall Street Journal this morning. Very interesting. 19 states where Obama holds a significant lead. Unemployment is at 8.7%, well above the national average. 24 states where Romney leads, the unemployment is 7.6%, well below. His advantage is the economy. Why is Romney leading in states where they're doing well and Obama leading in states where they're doing poorly?
If we now want to shake our magic 8-ball and answer that question, somebody please get me a magic 8-ball. The real answer, and going back to Angela's point, which I somewhat disagree with on both their points, is that the reality of people's voting will come to how much money they have in their front left pocket and whether or not they have a job.
Wallets.
And when we talk about messaging, the message is that simple. Why does it break down? I think that's a very interesting poll and deserves a little more attention. But the overall on November 6th, regardless of what happens at the conventions, is going to be that exact moment. How much money in the pocket do you have a job?
The reality is that Mitt Romney has shown that he can't, if it's all about messaging, Mitt Romney has shown that he can't relate to the average American, the middle-class worker. He can't even release his own tax returns.
Tax returns has nothing to do with the fact that Obama's policies has failed America. Obama's policies have not worked.
With sustainable growth over the past 29 months?
Obama's policies have not worked.
Reagan.
Now, as for Romney, I think he does need to get out there, and the Republican Party needs to get out there more and do more advocacy. In those states where Obama is doing better, the states are not doing so well dealing with unemployment, again, it's still about messaging. The race baiting, the class warfare, all of that is resonating, so Republicans need to get out there and give their message.
Okay, when you look at the unemployment rate, and we have a chart to show you where it's gone since 2009, it begs the question that Angela keeps presenting here, Tony. Isn't it about messaging? He presents this economic plan this past week.
Yeah.
Fairly simplistic when you break it down, but it's not, people aren't getting it. It's not being conveyed right. It's not moving the needle.
I don't accept that mathematics, because the message is, do you have a job? How much is a gallon of milk? How much is a gallon of gas? How much did it cost to put food on the table for your kids? How much did it cost
Tony,
for
I
rent?
agree with that.
That's reality.
I agree with that, and they are going to vote their pocketbook, but people still need to get out there.
All right, let's take a time out. We'll pick this up again after the break. Our panel is sticking around. As you may have heard, President Obama wants to raise taxes, but even the late President JFK said tax cuts are the best way to help the economy.
The tax cut, I think, is most important. That would be an $11 billion tax cut in a period of 18 months. We're not doing this just because, though of course everybody would like to have their taxes reduced, but the major reason is because of the lift it will give the economy, the assurance it will give us against another recession.
What changed in the Democratic Party since JFK was in the White House? We're back with our political panel. Nomiki, Konst, you ran for Congress in Arizona. What changed since those days?
Nothing has changed. Actually, taxes have gone down for the middle class since Obama has been in office, and he's going to continue to do that. The difference is Republicans are running on lowering taxes, but the reality is that they want to lower taxes for just the wealthy, and they want to put the burden on the middle class. Under Obama's plan, the middle class, their taxes will go down by $2,000.
They want
Under
to continue
Romney's
the Bush
plan,
tax cuts for all
Exactly.
income levels, not just for the wealthy.
And
You're aware of that.
also what they want to do, the House just passed a bill, the Republican House just passed a bill. They want to keep the marriage penalty tax relief the same. They want to keep the $1,000 per child tax credit the same and extend tax cuts for all people. Republicans don't want to raise taxes. Actually, they want to cut taxes more. You even have
Why will that
proposals out
help
there-
the economy, though, Angela?
Because when you cut taxes and people have more money in their pockets, they know what's best to do with their money. They can put it back into the economy. When you have failed policies and you don't cut spending, you increase spending, and the policies have failed now, they have not created more jobs, then raising taxes...
Jobs report.
Tony, have the Bush tax cuts created more jobs?
8.3 unemployment. 8.3%. 8.3% unemployment.
4.5 million jobs added in the past 2 years alone.
I have 4 seconds away from pulling out a cigar and watching the show. I really and truly am.
Go.
There are two important things to remember here, and I'll go back to that Wall Street Journal poll that you brought up earlier. It's you brought up whether it's a question of people like one or like the other, and that's the way it goes. That's not the way it goes. That's the way they answer in a poll. That's not the way they answer in their polling place. They will vote with how much money they have, and we can put a spin as big as you want now on the jobs numbers being up. They're not up. When you've got millions of people who have given up, when you've got more people than ever on disability, I refuse to let those numbers go and allow a narrative to be changed when reality states and dictates that people don't have a job, they can't get a job, and there is no certainty in the economic model today from the administration.
The only proven way that we can increase prosperity and reduce poverty is less taxes, less government, a free market, capitalism.
For the wealthy? Because that is what the 5-point plan is.
I'm a small business owner. I know a lot of small business owners that if you raise taxes, the tax hikes that Obama wants to do, coupled with Obamacare taxes,
Obama's policy gives $2,000
we can sing
back
together,
to
but we can't talk together.
Tony, grab that
The
cigar.
average family is, first of all, I got it right here. Secondly, the average family isn't paying the taxes. I want the tax breaks for the people who actually pay them,
I need
not
it
for the
too.
people who
The
don't
average
pay
family
them.
is not paying taxes.
47% of Americans
When
not
small
paying taxes.
businesses have to pay
Grab that.
taxes, they're going to
All
hire
right,
less
we're going to leave it there. You guys can continue this at the break and go grab a cigar.
What's happening online?
Too
Thank
early
you
for
all for being
cigars.
here this morning.